Oh, hey, friends. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Just getting set up. Recognizing I got some weird shadowy stuff on my journal this morning, and that's okay. We're going to go with it. Come on in. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? Hey, Kelly. So glad you're here today. Come on in. I was just shuffling through. Oh, hey, Jane. I was shuffling through my modern Nirvana Oracle and pulled us a card today. I pulled the mask. So let's see what it says. And then you get to tell me if there's any golden nuggets in there that land for you. Look at all my friends here today. Hey, everyone. Thanks for giving a shout out in the chat box so I know you're here. So excited. Let's see. Let's see what the mask says. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just hit the key points. Oh, hey, Camille. Let's see. It says the mask card has presented itself as a reminder that now is the time to design and refine your character so that you can take flight and spread your creative wings. This freedom will allow you to openly express the many experiences you have collected up until this point. By consciously molding a character that is a representation of your own active imagination. Interesting. Sometimes we must attempt something we've never done before to reach the next stepping stone on our path. Well, I feel that 100%. Doing things we've never done before to get to that next stepping stone. Does anybody feel like you're in a position of, oh, yep, I know that I get to do something differently in order to go for that next thing, whatever that looks like for each of us? I'm curious. The mask. So we're going to be playing with the usual supplies, but just in case there's anybody new out there that this might be your first time, welcome. I host these intentional creativity workshops on the first Wednesday of every month. So if it's the first Wednesday of the month, you know I'm going to be here at 9 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to have my journal. I'm going to have my oracle cards. Hopefully, I'm going to have you here. And you can always have, basic supplies, whatever's at hand, some kind of coloring goodie. I love collage and mixed media. So I'm always using like magazines and glue sticks. We use paints. There's no right way to do this, and there's no wrong way to do this. There's only your way, which is pretty cool. Oh, hey, Kimmy, I see you here. Okay, yeah, so I see some. Yep, definitely. The mask resonates. I for sure, in the complexity, which is our world right now, for sure feel like I get to show up in different ways to create different results. That lands 100%. So this month, I chose the theme of tending. Been just thinking a lot about that going within and tending to what matters most. I just want to say for any one of you who read my Monday email and responded, I know there's a few of you here, and I haven't responded back to everyone. I got an overwhelmingly large amount of responses, more than I have in like a year on any email I've ever sent. Like it was wild. And to be fully transparent, because you can always count on me to be transparent, I feel like connection and engagement has been lower than usual. So to send out an email that made such a huge impact in terms of like people feeling the need to connect was really beautiful. And it really showed me how that was so relevant to so many of us. So just know if you're here and I haven't responded, you're on the list. I'm coming. Because everybody shared such beautiful things. So I just want to say that out loud. So for sure, we're leaning into tending this month, and we're going to be just exploring ways that we can slow down. I really invite us in this moment, no matter what is going on in your life, let's just go ahead and take a breath together. Let's take 3 breaths, because look, there's enough happening. I think we could all be served by 3 breaths. I'm going to make that assumption. So this first breath that we're taking in is just letting go of whatever came before this moment. Even if you can just gift yourself an hour of peace of mind, let's take a breath in and release. This next breath is whatever could be distracting you in your area. If you need to shut the door in whatever room you're in, close out any tabs on your computer, put your phone away for an hour, whatever could be pulling you from being present with yourself in this next hour, let's do that. Let's take a breath in and release. And this third and final breath is for you. It's for ourselves, that we gift ourselves this moment of really deep listening to what's wanting to emerge from within today. Let's take a breath in and release. All right. Those breaths, always helpful. Even when I feel grounded, it's amazing how much more grounded I can become with a good old breath. So, when you hear the word tending, what do you think of? What do you think of? Pop it in the chat. What do you think of when you hear the word tending? I think of caring for something, giving something time and energy and attention. I'm tending to it. That means it's important to me. What do you think? Oh, watching it grow. Yes, I love that. I am loving this like mountain landscape that's showing up. Shiny object sage in real life, getting distracted. Okay, watching it grow. What else? What else comes up when you think of tending? Taking care of something? Yes. Ooh, watering the seeds. Yes. Gentle encouragement to young seedlings. Yes. Tending brings forth giving something attention and love to see it bloom. Yes. Declaring something sacred. Yes. I love all of these. I resonate with all of that when I think of tending. So, our focus today is the tending of ourselves. Now, when we shift the lens from a plant or another person, and we put the spotlight on us, that we are the live thing that we're tending, how does the energy shift for you? Do you think differently about tending? Are you like, oh, yeah, I kind of struggle with that tending? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, no, I am a sacred being and I deserve tending and I tend to myself. But I'm curious, does your outlook, does your energy around tending shift when the spotlight is on you? Yes, more uncomfortable, unfortunately. Yes, I see where there's a gap in my commitment to tend myself versus tending my plants, tending my family, tending my dog. Like, I definitely am not as committed up until now to tending myself. So for me, I definitely see a different way of looking through that lens. It feels like a task. I have to think about tending to myself rather than just something that comes naturally. That's a good one. Like not hesitating to tend to others, but there's not even that go-to is what I hear you saying, Jen. Feel selfish. Yeah. So wild. So wild how yeah, these are some of the things that we feel around tending ourselves. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. Let's see what else we got. An absolute necessity If I forgot, I lose my alignment. Yes, totally. If we don't tend ourselves, we are we're experiencing some kind of disconnection in one way, shape, or form. I firmly believe that. Jane feels like work and something I'll have to work to find time for it. Ooh, look at all of this. This is so like I love these moments. You all know that I totally nerd out over these moments where we have these ahas, these like clear, look how beautiful it was. Look, my hand. It was flowing, encouragement, bringing attention and love, declaring something sacred. And then we turn it to us and it's, oh, it doesn't feel natural. It feels selfish. It feels like work. Like, this is some great nuggets to really pick up and look at. This is crucial stuff right here, friends. Camille, I think that's so like, thank you for sharing that because what I hear you saying is like, hands down, I'm tending to myself. It's a necessity for me to stay aligned, which who doesn't want to be connected and aligned and grounded? And we get called out as being selfish when we show up in those ways. It's like everyone screams, be healthy, but that's part of being healthy. And so, why is it not okay to turn the spotlight on us and tend to ourselves, right? So thank you for sharing that. Let's see. We've got for me thinking about tending my house feels more tiring than tending myself. Same. I'd rather tend myself than my house too. The how of it feels novel and awkward for me. Okay, so thank you. First, I really appreciate each of you being visible and vulnerable and sharing those things. Because this is really important information to think about, friends. Like, this is how we are showing up in the world, right? And it's so in alignment with that email that I sent about, how I'm feeling like my purpose is about myself, right? Caring for myself, healing myself, doing my creative work. So I can then ripple out as a whole being, not someone like Swiss cheesy where I have all these holes and I'm trying to fill them up. It's very taker energy to show up in that way. It's actually very giving to show up super whole and coming from a grounded place. So it's interesting that some may see it as selfish to tend ourselves. And I almost think it's the exact opposite. So, yes, Kimia, colonized thinking, making its presence known. Yeah. So, and that I know that all of this dismantling takes time. But I think the first step is having the awareness that we feel this way about ourselves and we are thinking these thoughts and just getting curious about, is this really serving me in having just for the quality, the best quality of my life, my well-being. So let's jump into some journal prompts. Let's get to it. We've started stirring the energy already. Let's jump in. So the first journal prompt I'm inviting us into, and we'll just let's spend about 2 or 3 minutes with each one. So when I move fast like that, my invitation is to write what's ever coming up. It's at the top of your heart. We're not overthinking this stuff. So where have I been rushing and what is it costing me? So we're thinking about slowing down and tending. So with that intention in mind, how have you been rushing and what is it costing you? Hey, Camille, I see your request for an example. So when I think about how have I been rushing and what is it costing me? So when I think of rushing, that means I'm not really coming from a grounded place. I'm coming from a pushing through kind of place. When you're in that energy, what's the cost? Like when I'm rushing, I'm not being very thoughtful about what I prioritize in my life. So there's an imbalance there, and I always come last when I'm not coming from that grounded, slow down, think about what matters, coming from that place. Does that support Camille? Okay. Next inquiry. No one's behind. Like I'm inviting you to stay in flow with pace and also nobody's behind. Um, you're welcome, friend. Next inquiry is what is quietly asking for my attention? And you might need to just like pause and all be quiet so that you can hear yourself. What is quietly asking for your attention? All right, start finishing up wherever you're at. Roberta, you'll get a kick out of this. When I ask the question, what is asking for my attention? I heard structure. Yep. You can't hang out with me this long and not not be here in the structure. I love it, friend. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, it's so good. I can't wait for I feel like I'm doing a spoiler alert side quest. I'll save it. I'll save it. Okay, final prompt. What do I long to tend? Not because someone else thinks I should, but because it feels sacred to me. Jenny said, I heard to get outside, feel the sun and the breeze, and see the spring growth. Oh, yes. Yes. So, what do you long to tend? Not because someone else thinks you should, but it's because it feels sacred to you. Ellen, I love that you shared that my home environment, the way it looks and feels to me. So interesting because I wrote my body and my home, both are my sacred space. My body is my home. It was interesting how I brought that around full circle. We got the home theme kicking. Felicitas, I see you say the balance in my body and soul in all possible ways, release the tensions. Yes. Jane, I'm drawing a blank on what I truly want. Weird. Interesting. Hmm. When you think about it, Jane, does it like do you hear noise or you hear nothing? I'm just curious. Jen, I keep coming back to my singing voice and learning to write my own songs. Oh my gosh, yes, please. Oh, so just like breathe this in. Maybe we need to breathe it out. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Um, so interesting the reflections. There was a lot of like mirroring for me that came through in the prompts. Just like the home to body reflection and would I treat my home the way I treat my body? And then this piece around the loops that I find myself stuck in, don't have time to move my body, and then the tension and the stress and the worry and the grief don't have anywhere to go, and then I feel anxious, but then makes it feel harder to go and move the body. Like I'm just recognizing these loops and like how I feed the loops, right? It's like my control, like identifying where I could step in and be responsible for it. And that doesn't mean we beat ourselves up. It's just awareness. So yeah, if there's any ahas you want to share, feel free to share them. Um, Interesting, Jane. And sometimes I move through the noise by writing the noise out. I think sometimes noise shows up because it wants attention. And so if we don't give it attention, it either gets louder or it just buries itself deeper. That's just a thought. You do what you feel called, friend. Nicole said, I long to tend connection, real connection, instead of simply tending to others. Yeah, so beautiful, Nicole. I love that. Me too. Me too, friend. Let's do it. So now we're going to move some color. I like to use some watercolor. And my invitation is to choose a color that's just coming up for you. I feel like in my brain there's a battle between blue and pink. I'm going to go with pink. And I'm not thinking too hard about it. I'm just intuitively allowing myself to choose the color. And then I always get curious about, oh, well, how does pink feel for me? And then I'm just going to move some color lightly. My color is always a little bit darker on my journal than it shows up. Ellen, you said body. It's a confusing topic as a woman. What I want in my physicality is different than what the male dominated culture demands of me. Yeah, I hear that, friend. And I've been thinking a lot about one of the blessings that I've been experiencing in my like midlife perimenopausal area is like this detachment of needing to feel desirable or look desirable for anyone else. And it's like the first time that I'm really stepping into that of like, I could give zero shits about whether anyone thinks that I'm desirable or not. And I've never been able to say that in my life. And it's been so powerful to let go of that piece. And I'm just sharing it not as coaching, but just as relatable hearing, reading you say that, because that's been something that I think there's many of us that have felt that way because we've been conditioned to feel that way. And it's so freeing to be like, actually, I don't like wearing bras. Actually. So moving the color is not covering what you've written, it's moving the energy. Because when we write, especially in this way that's really asking some deeper questions and going to deeper places, we're conjuring some stuff up, And so this is just like moving our hands is allowing this energy to move. I don't know about you, but I always feel a little bit lighter after I do this step. And I think about what came up, this correlation with my body. What does that mean for me right now? And I always go back to what is the intention of this workshop? Slowing down and tending. Where am I moving too fast when it comes to my body? And, the body piece is showing up for me. Each of us have our own pieces showing up. And I'm reminding myself not to go too wild with the color because we're going to be working over this. And I just allow myself to move color until it feels enough. It's again not about covering everything, but just, do I feel a little bit lighter? Do I feel like I've released some things and I've moved some things? And the answer for me is yes. So hopefully some things have emerged or are beginning to emerge. You're in the process of moving it around where we get to really look at what is super sacred to us right now with tending to ourselves. What does slowing down mean? What could it look like? It doesn't mean you need all the answers right now. I'm just inviting us to get curious, to start thinking about these things if you haven't thought about them before. So I'd love to create a sacred container on our page that is going to hold whatever is coming up in our hearts to tend. So not worrying about it looking a certain way. To me, intentional creativity is not about being pretty, making pretty art. It's about feeling and energy and emotion. And so it's about, does this represent what's coming through for me? So what I'm being called to create is a little nest, like a little bird's nest that's going to hold and a safe place for me to tend whatever it is I want to tend. So I'm going to start building my nest. And I would love for you to get curious about what kind of container feels really safe and special for you to create to hold your desires of what you get to tend. And if you wanna, I'd love if you shared it with me in the chat box. I think I'm going to use, I think I'm going to do like a collage, like ripping up color, kind of like a mosaic collage for my nest. I think that's that's what I'm seeing in my head. Now, what I see in my head and what comes out doesn't always match, but I like the idea of it. So I'm going to go through some of my magazines and I'm going to see if I can find some colors. Thinking some browns. It's feeling really grounded. Ooh, Roberta, I am the tender of my time. Look at you touching the time. I see you. Are you going to do a nest too, Nicole? I love it. I love a nest. They're beautiful. The work that the birds take to build their little nest are amazing. Jane, you said writing out the noise really helped. Thank you. You're welcome, friend. Space in my life to authentically express my joy is calling to me. Isn't that interesting, Jane, that space is coming through, but the noise was blocking your space to be able to even unveil that? So wild. And yeah, I stand by that. Anytime things get so noisy that I can't hear myself, it's like, okay, it's got to go somewhere, but it's got to get out of my head. Ooh, a cauldron. I love it, Camille. All right. Just getting some different hues of browns. I think I got enough, actually, to at least start. And let's see. And with this process, I really don't try to plot things. You know, for me, again, intentional creativity is like feeling my way through it, not trying to get it right, because we can't get it right. And you hear me say it a lot, and you're going to continue to hear me say it a lot because I think we need the reminders. So I'm just following the movement of my hand. I'm letting my hand be the leader. My hand's like, yo, I got this. I'm just thinking about like, how do I want my container to feel? Definitely want it to feel safe. Safety is super important. It's a thing that comes up for me again and again and again. I have to feel safe. It feels strong. It feels like it's going to be able to hold whatever I put in there. Ellen, you said no boundaries, no container, wish for the ability to speak my truth and change that completely the next moment as I learn and grow. Yeah, you got to follow your heart, friend. You got to follow your heart. My thought behind the container is more of just this this energetic structure that's holding what's coming up for us, because I think for many of us, dare I say, it's the stuff isn't something that we're going to have the awareness and then go, okay, I tend to my body now. It's going to be practice. And so I'm going to need all the support I can get to hold that vision that I matter and that my body deserves my time and slowing down. But I also am a big fan of structure, and I don't think structure limits us. I actually think structure provides freedom, and that it's a sacred flow. Oh, I got a little cat paw in my nest. Little kitty cat energy. I love it. All right. I think I am creating enough that I can at least start gluing my container. And thinking about, do I want to do the whole thing? Do I want to leave some spaciousness in there? Might want to leave some spaciousness in there. I think I need a bigger nest. Oh, yeah. Because I want room to be flexible, because structure only works when it's flexible, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. Y'all know I do love the structure. Spoiler alert, I'm working on my next book, which is called The Art of Intuitive Structure. And I'll be keeping y'all posted. But it's actually going to beta readers on Monday. So I am getting close to sharing it with y'all. I'm very excited about that. All right. Okay. Yeah, I feel good about this. Let's start gluing. And as you're working on whatever your container looks like, whatever you're choosing to put on your page to represent the energy of what's most important to you. Also thinking about awareness is cool. It's the first step always and forever, but then the action comes in, right? How are we moving in action of that sacred tending? What does that actually look like? Where are we willing to go that we haven't gone yet to tend what's being asked to tend, for us to tend? If it's connection, if it's body movement, if it's creativity, whatever your inner knowing is kind of screaming, whispering, however it's showing up for you. So I'm inviting you to begin to think about, doesn't mean you have to take action today or tomorrow, but just get curious. What does it look like? Oh, hey, friend, I see your question. How does one become a beta reader? Do you mean in general or specifically for my book? I mean, really, like a beta reader. Sorry, there's something loud going by my office. Okay, now I don't feel like I'm competing with whatever's driving by. A beta reader, I mean, their main job is to support you in the readability of your book. So it's a lot different than editing. And so when your book is at a place where it is the best it can absolutely be, you've done everything you know to do, it's a really sweet time to send it to beta readers for some feedback. And so, yeah, I mean, I usually choose people who, I know can follow through and make sure that they stay on the deadline that I need for my production plan. That's super important. But I know that's going to give me honest feedback and not just tell me like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Because that doesn't help my book be the best it can be. It doesn't help any of our books be the best they can be. But also somebody that's not like, I think there's humans that we probably each know someone in our lives who tends to be on the critical side all the time. That's obviously not helpful either. You want honesty, but someone who can deliver in a good way. So yeah, do you pronounce your name Annetta? Definitely like email me, reach out for sure. Let's connect. I mean, at the very least, I'd love for you to check my book out. I'm super excited about it. Look at me all spreading the word of intuitive structure out in the world. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. All right. I love that I've got pieces of chocolate. I got pieces of a beautiful little Kit Kat, hot cocoa. My nest is so comforting. Cat chocolate and hot cocoa. Come on. I am loving this vibe that's coming through. Okay, how is your container? How is your page feeling? If you want to do a check-in, if you feel called to share how your page is coming along, or maybe you're doing a lot of listening. 3 of my favorite things, right? You can't go wrong with those 3. Oh, Jane, I love that your page is making you so happy. Yes. Yes. Right? If we're going to create shifts in our lives, like it gets to come from a place of inspiration and joy, and feeling grounded and safe to go on that journey. So I guess that's why I was thinking like having a container, and the nest came up for me. It's like very just wholesome and beautiful. You're welcome, friend. And this might be a page that you keep tending, pun intended. You might continue to tend your tending page. And my invitation is to not get lost in it, because sometimes we do the work of the pages, but the next step is off the page, right? So tend the page, be with the page, receive what you need to get into movement. Don't get stuck in this step. That's why I like finding the good enough. Has that ever happened to you where you get really hyper focused on the page, but then the desire, the energy stays on the page and doesn't actually move into life? Has that ever happened? That's happened to me before. Many times. So that's why I'm speaking into it, because I think it's a thing that happens. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, there's no shame in it. Just it happens. And again, going back to awareness of like, okay, well, if I'm going to actually shift and do some of this inward tending, it's going to take me, oh my gosh, y'all, now I'm freaking out. It's going to take you making different choices. What was the card I pulled at the beginning? For those of you at the beginning, I pulled the mask card. And what did it tell us? For a different result, you have to do things differently. Oh my gosh. I love when things come full circle real time. Witnessing the magic. So maybe that's the inquiry that we get to be in. What do I get to do differently? Oof. Did you feel it? I felt it when I said that out loud. I felt it. What do I get to do differently? Yeah. And what I'm hearing when I go quiet and I say, what do I need to do differently? My inner knowing says, well, you tend to make things harder than they are. Real talk from the inner knowing. And so then I guess I get to ask myself, how am I making this harder? Can anyone relate to that? Like feeling like they make things harder than it needs to be? Roberta, you said I have a new sign in my studio. Do different to live different. Yes, girl. Yes. Okay, good. Good, Nicole. I was like, I can't be the only one. Come on, y'all. Oh. Yeah. And I mean, when I think about why do I make things harder, it's because it's uncomfortable, right? So I'm not really like jazzing myself up, you know, getting myself pumped up to do the thing because I am thinking about how uncomfortable it is, or maybe there's a fear there because we know fear loves to like creep in. And so then the fear is like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna go well. Jenny said, my container is a flower vase. So instead of trying to create, I found images of both empty and filled flower vases for my page. Oh, I love that. So beautiful. What a great representation of tending too and holding space for that. That's awesome. Got my little nest kicking over here. And, you could very well be working on your page, afterwards. And my invitation is maybe what could you put in your container, around your container, that reminds you of what this sacred tending is? Actually, I'm gonna invite us to write something on our page before we close up today. I'm gonna do that as soon as I get these last few pieces on. But play with your page, listen to your page. Your page is going to look different than my page, right? This page is a representation of you, not me. So go with it. Follow your heart. Listen to yourself. If the chaos and noise creep in, write it out. Move it out. Jump up and down. Shake it out. Get ridiculous. I notice when I get ridiculous, my critics get quiet because they're like, wow. And I'm like, that's right. That's right. You're not the boss of me. Kelly, you said, I made an hourglass and the top is open where the sand continues to flow. Oh, I love that. And I love this. Oh, Kelly, that's good. I love this thought of like always being able to turn the hourglass. So it's always in movement. There's no stagnation unless you never turn the hourglass, right? So I love that. That's fun. I love how each one of us gets a different idea. Okay, so still working on my little nest over here, but I want to shift in because I know we're getting to the top of the hour. I want to just shift in and put something in the chat that I came up with. Let me put it in here. Oh my gosh, that's powerful, friend. I see what you posted in the chat. Something that has worked for me this year, I declared that I no longer allow dread as a first feeling in the morning. That is so beautiful because, yeah, those first moments of like reacclimating, transitioning from sleep to awakeness and getting grounded into like, okay, like what do I get to create today? Who do I get to be? Or whatever our morning routine is with ourselves, like not allowing dread in there, I'm sure is going to dramatically change the energy of your day. That's powerful. Okay. If you want to write this on your page, or maybe you want to save this as a journal prompt to do, I think I'm going to actually write it big on my page. That's what I think I want to do. I'm going to get a marker. But the inquiry is, it's in the chat. When I slow down, I remember that. And then you fill in the blank. Let's see. Okay. Oh, that made the decision for me. I need new markers. Okay. Ellen, you say, I matter and what I say and feels matter. Yes. 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 I love that. I put, when I slow down, I remember that my body is my home. My body is my home. I live in it. And I don't want a home that's breaking down. I want care for my home. My home needs some upkeep. Oh, I'm glad I'm just cracking myself up over here. Okay, if you feel called to share, thank you for sharing, Ellen. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you feel called to share, I'd love to hear what's coming through. And if you're going to save it for later, awesome. Just, I feel like I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again, especially if we have new friends here today. You're always welcome to email me. Like, I absolutely, it brings me so much joy. This type of work is not work where I find joy of just like showing up and being like, oh yeah, I did this. Like, the joy really comes for me when it's this exchange of energy and we're in connection and engaging with each other. That's truly the most epic thing for me. So please don't ever hesitate if something's on your heart. If tomorrow you're looking at your page and something comes through and you want to share it with someone that you think would get it, like, email me. I would absolutely love that. And I always do my best to get back to you in a timely manner. And sometimes, some days I'm better at that than others, but I always work on it. Also, a reminder, super fun and yeah, interesting to put your page, put your journal outside. Maybe if there's some sunshine where you are. I like to put my page out and just let it get energized by the sun. I like to put it out sometimes under the moon. I think that all this work that we do in our journals and in intentional creativity is energy. I firmly believe that. And it's alive and it's moving and we're listening and we're receiving. And so I just want to remind us to tend our pages in ways that aren't just in creation. And if that's something that doesn't resonate with you, then obviously don't do it. Don't do it. If you hear me say it and you're like, oh, that sounds so cool, go for it. If not, it's fine. Do whatever you want. Jane, you said, one of my magazine scraps, I just noticed the word cheers to the new. Yes. I love it. Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate that. I'm really feeling so much joy making this. And just thinking about a beautiful nest, a beautiful, safe, warm, cozy nest that's holding me. I don't have to, it's a reminder I don't have to hold everything on my own. I don't know about any of you, but sometimes I feel like I've got to hold everything by myself. And this is a reminder that, like, I don't have to hold everything on my own. Even though logically I know that I don't, it feels that way a lot. So I'm curious. Most of us took note that when I initially asked you what tending meant for you, it was really like beautiful and loving and growth and nourishment. But then when I did the old shifteroo and I said, now, what does tending yourself look like? The energy shifted. So I'm just curious. There's no right or wrong answer. Do you feel any different? Did anything shift in regards to that idea of tending what you want, essentially, I should say. I'm curious. Jane, you said, I like to periodically put my journal out under the moon. I love that. I love that. Yes. Just feels so special. So I'm curious. Curious minds over here want to know, has any kind of energy shifted about some personal tending? And it's okay if it hasn't, but I'm just curious. I always feel so much lighter. I feel like I do. I feel like I took a big exhale doing this. I feel some more possibility. I feel hopeful, dare I say. I feel hopeful that I will commit to this. So I'm curious, how are you feeling right now? Roberta, you said yes. Just opening my mind to thinking about myself being the thing that can be tended. Yes. Right? Just the idea of it. And that's the thing. It just takes that spark of curiosity. Well, what would it look like if I prioritize myself first thing in the morning, or whatever it is, right? Fill in the blank. I did not feel positively towards tending at the beginning, but I do now. Yes. Yes, I love that. Jen, you said, yes, I feel like I'm on the right track. I just need to continue moving forward. And that is the gold. That is what, for me, is the make or break of, can this become a sustainable practice in our lives? And I think that it takes commitment, really believing that this matters, whatever it is that's on your page. And I think that we do it together. I really do. I don't thrive on my own. I thrive when I'm connected. I thrive when I'm in community, even if that community looks like 4 other people. Community doesn't have to be hundreds of people. I'm a big quality over quantity kind of gal. So that's why my invitation was beautiful, beautiful. This is step 1. And I know my fingers don't look very lovely. Got glue all over them. But what's step 2? And you don't have to know the answer right now. Give yourself permission to just be here and know that the next step, because if you're like me, you like to know what the next step is. You find some comfort in that. The next step is, what does it look like for this to become a real thing? A real thing. And you know what I find is that sometimes like plotting it out really works. And sometimes you just got to do it. You know, and for me personally, claiming my body as my home, there's no preparation for that. I just need to start doing it. I need to move my body, care for my body in the way it deserves to be cared for. I don't need to think about what I already know. Most of us already know what it looks like. It's just scary, right? Let's see. Nicole, you said, my takeaway is that I'm not alone, but I might need to do the tending to connect with others. Yes. Yeah. So I really love today's page, and I didn't realize how much I really needed it till I did it. I hope that spending this hour together was really fulfilling for you, and that you maybe feel a little bit lighter. You have maybe some new insight on where you want to put your energy into. I think, if you haven't written this out, please take the time, even if you don't put it on your page, but you journal about it. When I slow down, I remember that. What do you remember? That's so vital, because that's your inner knowing. That's you speaking. So as always, if you're on the Facebook, I have a group there called Storytellers and Wild Creatives. I'd love to see your page. I love being here with you, but I don't get to see your page. That's kind of a bummer. If you're not on the Facebook, or you don't want to share for other people to see, you can always email me. I always enjoy to see your page. And if you have any questions or comments. Also, I've been, I share a lot about these YouTube workshops. If you feel like this work is impactful, these monthly sessions really make a difference in your life, if you would message me like a one-liner, I'd love to include it when I share and invite people to come. Yeah, just a one-liner. I feel this after attending a session. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Only if you feel called. No worries if you don't. I always appreciate you and the time we have together. It's always one of the most joyful parts of my day when we do this together. Kelly, you said my takeaway is that I can tend to capturing the light. Oh, I love that. I love it. Yes. All right, friends, please take good care of yourselves in whatever way that looks like for you. We move some big energy today as we do. And get curious. What's tending look like? Think about it. I'm grateful for you. I hope I hear from you soon. And that's it. I'll just sit here and ramble all morning. We've got lives to live. So I'll see y'all soon.